Yeah, it's about time we swap some more landmasses in EU4. Korea and Denmark are swapped. The Kalmar Union has been split up, and Sweden and Norway are independent, and Denmark is a tributary of Ming. Now, you might think that this overall sounds like a pretty heavy nerf to Denmark, and early on, I would have agreed with you. But after seeing how things played out, I can tell you that that is certainly not the case. If you enjoy these sorts of EU4 videos, make sure that you leave a like, and don't forget to subscribe if you're not already, and when you subscribe, ding the bell so you get notified when these videos go up live every week. Denmark over here is off to a good start by the looks of it. They have invaded Jeonju, they are sieging down Jeonju, and they're probably going to annex Jeonju, at least the province of it. If they can get up a power base, they're going to be in a good spot. They are a tributary of the Ming, so not sure exactly how that will go, but I'm pretty optimistic that they can win against these hordes, because this is all mountain terrain and definitely favors them. Dang, man, I just got so excited because I saw blue occupying over here in Norway, and there is a straight crossing down here, but it's actually Sweden. It's Sweden who's declared war on Norway, you know, because Scandinavian things. They've also taken a ton of land from Novgorod, so Korea is going to have some pretty strong neighbors to the north here, and of course the HRE to the south. We'll see if he can do anything. Korea is pretty notorious for like sitting around and doing nothing, so wouldn't be a very interesting video, but I'm definitely curious to see how they manage, especially being Confucian surrounded by Christians. Oh my gosh, we are 20 years in, and Denmark has already conquered a ton of land in Manchuria. I don't know if they are still a tributary. They are. They just took a ton of land in this. I actually missed it, but I tabbed over here and saw, and I figured I had to bring you guys in for it. They have claims on all of the land over here, so I assume that their mission tree is giving them claims or something. I'm not sure what Cody changed when he made this mod. This is an old mod that's been updated from years ago. So clearly Denmark is having a good run at it. And they're pretty isolated over here with no friends or anything, but they have Ming to protect them. This may end up being a good game for Denmark. Denmark has absolute balls of steel. They just keep on going to war over and over again. Like they have limitless manpower. I don't know how or why they're being so aggressive, but they certainly are, and it is paying off for them. It's probably only going to be a matter of time before they decide that they don't need big Ming's protection anymore, and they're probably going to want some of this juicy development over here in China. Meanwhile, how is that for a Sweden absolutely dominating, kicking Norway all the way over to half of Iceland, and they took every single province other than that. They even took these islands up here north of the British Isles. So yeah, not looking so good. Meanwhile, Otto has annexed Byzantium, no surprise. And for some reason, I assume for a personal union, Austria is full occupying Hungary and Croatia. So probably going to end up having a strong Austria this game, at least by the looks of it. And here's an interesting war. You've got the Ottomans attacking Albania, no surprise there, but they've called in the person guaranteeing them in Venice, as well as their ally of Aragon, who is doing pretty good overall. And they didn't call Tunis their ally in, so I would not be surprised at all if the Ottomans actually get bonked. And that would be pretty gnarly to see the Ottomans spiral out of control early, especially this early. We're only like 40 years in. And it turns out that Austria just wanted land. They pushed all the way to Pest, and then they attacked Bohemia instantly for this province up here in the mountains. So Austria is just like going bonkers, very aggressive, like militant leader this time around. Oh yeah, Ottomans are not doing well. The war has actually even expanded to include Austria in their personal union of Burgundy, which is a new one since I last looked, at least I think it is. The Austrians are crusading the Ottomans. So that is that's pretty good. Yep, that makes sense. They are indeed the crusade target for the Holy See. So yeah, there's no chance the Ottomans will at least even be somewhat strong after this. And it looks like QQ even took a chunk of land over here in the north. So an early Ottoman death here, caught early live in 4K. You love to see it. And there they are, like a phoenix, rising from the ashes. Byzantium is back, and then Poland took literally all of this land up here in Bulgaria because reasons. Albania grows larger yet, so Skanderbro has a chance. And oh, the Ottomans are not looking good. They're actually losing a war over here to these guys, but they have their capital. So, oh my gosh, this is crazy. Actually, I did not expect this at all. Meanwhile, Korea's over here with a couple of tributary states, a couple of claims here and there, not doing anything. They've not gone to war, at least not that I can tell. So they're just chilling, you know, just doing their thing. developing lands, I guess. With a whopping 31 dev in their capital. Not bad. 16, 17, 18, 17, 17. So there is actually quite a bit of development going on in Korea. Not nearly as much over here in Denmark, but their conquests continue and they are at war with basically everybody all at once and somehow still winning it all. Hey, Poland, you guys doing okay? Not only did they annex most of Byzantium, which is a crime in itself, they've pushed over into Anatolia, they pushed over into Crimea, and friends, they've actually pushed into Livonia and Novgorod, and apparently Russia. So Poland is having a game. Yes, they do have the personal union, and they are looking super, super good. Austria kicked Skanderbro out of Albania. They now exist down here in southern Greece as well as Serbia. And then we have Ramazan here, which is like the most beautiful red color, at least with Chewy's graphics. It's a visual mod that I have. It's going to be linked in my mod pack, so feel free to check it out in the description if you want to. But it is such a nice color, and I would love to see them paint the map, because at the end of the day, that's really what EU4 is all about, right? Map painting, at least for a lot of people. It's exactly what it's about. Yep, we knew it was coming. Denmark has officially pushed into China, and they've actually taken Beijing as well as that peninsula over there. So Denmark is, safe to say, leading to the end of the Ming. At least eventually they will. And while we're talking about the end of empires, how about that Austrian Burgundy over here, just north of France, who's doing okay. And just north of, oh god, yeah, they're not doing well. Not only have they been kicked out of the Balearic Isles, but it looks like Castile is about to lose even more land in Iberia than they already have to the French. So truly the most scary timeline that I have seen in a while, but who can we blame? I mean, France is absolutely overpowered in the most recent patch. Another war with France and a newly formed Spain without Catalonia or whatever this is up here, Castile in the north. Not looking good. However, we do have a Brandenburg who doesn't have Prussia, but has the entirety of Silesia looking pretty good, and a Korea who has done literally nothing the whole game. But Norway at least has this province back, so there's at least something going on for them. And my goodness, that Poland is absolutely awesome, as the kids say. I'm quite impressed. They annexed Lithuania. They have some rebels and stuff like that, so I don't know why they haven't formed the Commonwealth yet. But I imagine it's going to very soon. And an absolute disgusting point of view over here, we have the Venetian Balkans, we have the Austrian Balkans, the Polish Balkans, Venetian Anatolia, Mamlukian Aden over here. This is an absolute mess, and the Ottomans do still exist over here in the mountains of Erzurum, so safe to say they've seen better days. Meanwhile, we have the Timurids who have pushed into Basra as well as over into Bahrain and well up into Kazakhstan, greatest country in the world. If you didn't know, all other countries are run by little girls. And of course, no surprise, Ming has collapsed with Khmer pushing well up into their very good game for them. And how about Ayutthaya getting all of Burma? But yes, China has collapsed, and it is a bunch of little tags, probably going to be all the better for Denmark because they will be able to push wherever they want. And then meanwhile, in Japan, we have Danish Japan in the south here, Yamana, and then Ashikaga in the north. So very excited to see if Denmark does more. I'm actually surprised they came over here in the first place, but we'll see how things go in the future with that. And don't ask me how, but we have a massive Persia here looking incredibly good, controlling most of the lands that the Timurids formerly had. The Persian leader is a Timurid. Timurid's leader is not. I don't know how, but that is the case. Meanwhile, the Mamluks have moved up quite a bit, pushing into Anatolia, but oh my gosh, how about that Commonwealth and Austria, both absolute behemoths in Europe. Meanwhile, there is Korea with 0 border changes in like 250 years. Iceland has formed, which I always like to see. France has continued to push into Iberia, actually taking over a bunch of Portuguese land, and they've even pushed a bit over into Italy as well, though they are fighting a massive war against a much stronger Austria, so probably not going to hold on to all of that. And oh my gosh, Denmark didn't just take a little bit of land, they took all of it. All the way from Manchuria down into Vietnam, and they've even got some land in the Philippines, bro. Definitely was not expecting Denmark to do as well as they have, but that is pretty nuts. Shout out Somalia. Always love to see a Somalia form. It's a nice color. We've got the British down here in the Cape of Good Hope, right next to a blue nation, but I'm not really sure. Wait a minute. That is it, boys. Korea is colonizing. They have Brazil, they have Colombia, and they've even got Miju over here on the East Coast as well as Canada. So Korea is actually the colonial power. Mexico has broken free from Spain. So the New World is dare I say it, interesting this time around. Denmark is actually out in front, if you guys can believe that, with Austria a close second, followed by France, Spain, but probably not for long, followed by England, who has not formed Great Britain yet. Then we have the Commonwealth looking very good, and then quite a bit of development below them, actually even more if you don't consider colonial development. Korea, still a great power, but not quite that high. And then the MAMs, with almost 1,000 development in the great power number 8 spot. And in the end, the Commonwealth ends up 2 provinces. One over here, and then one in Anatolia. Now, the reason being is because a new challenger has entered the arena in the most massive AI Germany I have literally ever seen in my life, formed by none other than Austria. Of course, I have to point out Prussia, which I think is just super funny to see a massive Prussia next to a massive Germany. So what do we call it if Austria annexes Germany? Like, it's a reverse Anschluss, but like, what would you call that? Spain ended up getting the Low Countries, losing 1 province over here to Prussia, which is good because they don't have much land down in Iberia. Most of that went to France. Persia did pretty good in the end, with Timurids being a 1-province minor in the former Timurids land, so shout out Persia, didn't expect them to do it. And I assume that this is because of cultural stuff, but Denmark is back in Scandinavia, and they've annexed most of Sweden and Finland, pushing Sweden mostly into Russia. And to be honest, Denmark annexed basically everything else as well. All of China, all of Vietnam. It looks really good. Good enough to get it into the number 3 spot, just under France, with Germany way out in front for that number 1 spot. However, they do eke out Spain with just barely a little bit more development after it calculates their subjects. We then have England and then Korea in the 6th spot, with revolutionary VJ and the Mamluks rounding out the top 8. We have an economic hegemon for Germany, looking very good on their end. South America is an absolute mess. We have Korean countries, we have Swedish countries, we have Brazil, which is a Portuguese country, and then up in North America, we have Brazilian Cascadia. We have a colonial nation for Brazil. That is a thing. I think Spain lost Mexico, went back, and got Mexico again. So that's pretty impressive. And then meanwhile, Korean Canada and the Korean East Coast in Miju looking pretty good. Overall, borders in the New World, very messy. But, you know, I would say I'm happy to see so much blue in that area and it not be France for once. The HRE is, for the most part, gone, though Spain is the emperor of the HRE that still exists, so that's pretty good as well. And I just love to see a pacifist Korea. Colonial Korea, pacifist on the mainland, not a single province inside or outside of its starting borders, though they did build the Kiel Canal, which connects, like, this river here, I guess. So that's pretty good. But yeah, shout out Korea and Denmark. They did very good in their own regards. Special thanks to ALS Gamer, LeGrand Puba, Chio, Josh Krasinski, Edge Rhino, Juan Damon, Ian Powell, Cannon Fodder, Corporate Gaming, Anthony Grove, Harry Newhouse, Saranska, Ricardo, Cobalt, Rex, Total Farce for It, Drunk Binary, Nathan Albright, and many more. Thank you. For early access videos, check out the join button or the link in the description below.